Gotcha.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of the Assassin's Hood Mantle. The Assassin's Hood is a new mantle that you can unlock by playing the Deadly Fierce and Silent event quest. It's going to be one of those rotating events, so if you didn't happen to pick up the mantle when it launched, your next chance is probably going to be at a seasonal event. It's not a particularly difficult quest, not in my opinion, but if you'd like to see me solo it in about 6 minutes, you can click on the link up here, or you can check the link in the comment section below. If you are really new to the game and having trouble with this quest, consider joining my Discord server and asking someone for help. There's always a link to that Discord server in my description. So, when we read the description of the Assassin's Hood, it claims to improve your movement speed and it allows you to hide quicker. It also mentions this thing about ending the mantle's effect if you attack a monster who's not aware of you. You also notice that it lasts for 360 seconds, much longer than any other mantle, as well as having a recharge time of only 180 seconds, which is faster than any other mantle in terms of recharge. When testing the mantle for speed, which of course that's the first thing I did, you can see on the mini-map that I'm outpacing another player, right? Not very quickly, but a little bit at a time. Another way to describe the speed increase is that it's enough to outrun a retreating monster. That's the other thing I noticed. I was chasing Nergigante, who was going back to his nest, and I was just going a little bit faster than him. Being faster should technically be considered a buff in most games, but in Monster Hunter World it felt difficult to capitalize off of the extra speed. Most monsters have large, wonky hitboxes in this game, and so it's kind of difficult to roll through their attacks, which is why it's hard to take this mantle as opposed to Rocksteady Mantle, Temporal Mantle, or maybe the Evasion Mantle, right? In fact, if you were a speedrunner, I'm not sure you would want to give up the Impact Mantle or the Evasion Mantle for this either. Impact Mantle is going to give you 1, maybe 2 KOs on the target, which is incredibly valuable for juggling, and the Evasion Mantle, which I've already mentioned, rather than allowing you to outspace the target, which is what you might do with the increase to your speed, you might try to outspace the target. Well, the Evasion Mantle just lets you roll through the attacks with greater iframes, and if you successfully do this, which is exactly what the speedrunners do, you just get a big attack buff on top of being able to dodge the moves. So the question is, if you outspace an attack, you're not going to get like a damage buff. Why not just dodge it? So Assassin's Hood is not innately useful for its speed buff, not in my opinion. It feels nice, I guess, and especially feels cool when paired with the dual blades. So it has a nice little fashion thing going, but in terms of like how does it fit into the meta, I don't think it fits very well. There's more things to look into though. We're not going to just look into the speed, we have this other mechanic to look into. Let's keep looking at it. Okay, so other than speed, we still have to look at the hiding mechanic. It turns out that when you hit an unaware monster, basically a monster that's not aggroed to you, you're going to gain a damage boost that's somewhere in the ballpark of 30 or 50%. I don't know the exact number, seems to be closer to 50%, but a modder, he's probably going to reveal that actual amount some point in the future, and then it'll just be common knowledge if you're keeping it. Maybe it won't be common knowledge, maybe it'll just be knowledge amongst people who pay attention to that kind of stuff. But I'm saying probably around 30 or 50%, but I'm guessing 50. One of the first things I wanted to test with this was whether this bonus damage stacks on a sleeping monster, since the first attack you use on a monster who's asleep also gives a bonus damage. That's the wake up attack, right? Hopefully you knew that. If you didn't, now you do. Don't accidentally wake up a sleeping monster. Let the strongest weapon wake it up. So unfortunately, after various testing, it appears that these two things do not stack. Oddly enough, it seems like you can't de-aggro a sleeping monster. My first assumption was that a sleeping monster would be de-aggroed by default, but after using 3 wake-up attacks on Nergigante, it was obvious that it simply doesn't work with the Assassin's Hood mechanics. The monster must not be de-aggroing the player despite being asleep. See what I'm saying? So they're not stacking because when the monster's asleep, he's still aggroed to him. You're not actually catching him unaware. Then I decided to test it a different way. I fought Anjanath, and I tried to put him to sleep near a bush so that I could run over to it and try to remove aggro that way. For those of you who don't know why I would think that way, it's because when you run over to a bush and you crouch, you de-aggro the monsters. Well, that didn't work either. For some reason, the hiding mechanic doesn't work while a monster is asleep. Like, I was waiting for that purple color to pop up around my radar. It just didn't. And then when I used the Wake Up attack on Anjanath, it was clear I was only receiving the Wake Up attack bonus, similar to what I found with Nergigante. There seems to be one primary way to get the bonus damage with this mantle, and that's to run away from the fight to a bush, hide for a second, crouch, and as soon as your radar gets that purple de-aggro signal, run back up to the monster and use your attack. This will successfully give you the bonus damage. In the end though, even this method is not that good because you have to run up behind the monster to stay hidden, and I don't know if you even have enough time to get a charge swing with your hammer or your greatsword in before something goes wrong. If you're on a typical team, for example, it's not like your teammates are going to help keep his face, the monster's face, pointed away from you so that he doesn't see you. So it's pretty unreasonable to think the bonus damage is going to be a constant thing you can take advantage of with the high damage single attack weapon. So, is the Assassin's Hood OP? In my opinion, it's not. And maybe that's why Capcom didn't hype it at all. I mean, literally, even when they posted that the event was available, they still didn't say anything about it being an Assassin's Creed collaboration. I mean, that's just odd. You're getting one mantle that you probably won't use, and the Bayek layered armor, and you can do this by playing the event quest 4 times, and that's it, and then you never need to think about it again, right? So I guess, I don't know, maybe for Capcom it wasn't that exciting. At this point, I wish it had been more like a heavily upgraded ghillie mantle that makes you completely invisible to the monster right away, and then when you attack, no matter where you attack or under whatever condition, your attack, your single hit attack, gains like a full times 2, 200% damage bonus, and then the mantle dies and goes into recharge, because it's just competing against so many other good mantles like Rocksteady, Temporal, Evasion, Impact. It's hard to justify using this one. As for the Bayek layered armor, maybe they could have made it an actual armor set like they did with Dante, or if they didn't have time for that, maybe like a new pair of dual blades would have been nice, which would have been a bit easier than trying to make an entire new armor set, but obviously they didn't do that. Obviously this is all wishful thinking at this point. Well, I do appreciate the new content, and we'll have to see what the secret event quest for New Year's Day is going to be, hopefully an Arch-Tempered Jagras. Alright, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.